Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. You are here with Nick's Happy Friday. Excuse the appearance. I woke up like this, honestly. The trains, it was the trains that woke me up. It actually, well, I was awake, but it was the intensity of the trains. It was like the train came up off the track and pulled up and said, toot, toot. And I was like, I'm getting up. It was almost like, trains are old, trains are ancient, but they're some of the most reliable transportation here in the United States. Trains are some of the oldest modes of long luxury travel in the United States without having to get on a plane. That's a way to see the atmosphere. It's a way to experience other people. It's a way to reasonably and affordably travel. However, it's the trains. Something about the trains. When I heard the train, it made me think of grandmother, grandfather, right? Because that's the luxury way in which people traveled when they came to America. Um, I have two sets of grandparents. I have grandparents that came from inside that are indigenous to America, and I have grandparents that came from the outside of America. As many of us, we have people who we are related to that come from other countries. And it's very important for us to also remember to balance that out, okay? Why I do appreciate the culture, the cultured part of me that does not come from here, I also have to preserve the part of me that does come from here. And that's lending itself to the FBA speeches or talk that's going around as far as the what is that? The temporary status of some people who are getting deported. And while we understand this is basically world karma and dharma. This is about bias and bigotry. This is about entitlement. This is about delusion. This is about cognizant cognizant dissonance. This is about being so close to the problem that you don't realize that maybe you're the problem. Uh, this has happened in so many ways, so many places, and it's not limited to just people who describe themselves to be of color. This is basically from the Europeans, the Africans, the Caribbean, the Asian. Every culture is involved in the bias and the bigotry. Okay, everybody is guilty, even by association, of the bias and the bigotry. So right now we're witnessing world karma. It's coming in different droves and different conversations. We're seeing where people are still going through the issue of skin color. People are still going through the issue of social class. Still, people are still going through things that don't matter in the end. In the end, are we getting along so that we can get along? In the end, are we trying to make space for everyone, or are we just trying to take over for ourselves? And you have to be very, very careful because there is a fine line between the two. Um, in the energy right now, what I'm feeling is though, there are some people that are feeling a bit defeated. Defeated not because there was anything physically done to them. They're feeling spiritually and mentally defeated because there's a lot of fatigue to be passed out around here, okay? There's a lot of poverty fatigue. There are a lot of people that are going through things and they don't understand. That's because they never took up the tools or the access to the tools weren't given with instructions. Okay? So a lot of people are trying to figure out where they stand in this here life. And this comes from all walks, from people who have been to colleges, major colleges, to people who are just sitting on the curb just trying to figure it out. It's because we are all trying to fit on this rock, doing the exact same things in different ways and still trying to be valued for it, right? But you have to realize that there are other people who haven't gotten it together and they're stealing the footnotes instead of coming and sitting and enjoying and taking instruction. You don't have to steal anything that is really, really free. Okay, so now we have these people who have made the hierarchy of what we're going to get and what we're not going to get. And the difference between all of that is you and I, and how we share our communication, how we share our information, how we give instruction, how we take instruction, and how we apply it. And that is the last part. The last part that I mentioned is the most important part. Is it's no point in you taking part of it if you're not going to apply it. Um, there are so many things left to be said. I'll just take my time because life is definitely not a race for me. It is a marathon. So pardon me as we still impart on this journey of understanding quite where we are in karmic land, karmic class, okay? The reason for me starting this page was not only to express myself and the grievances that I did have within my own structure, within my own environment. It was also so that I can talk to others who are also having an issue relating to things surrounding them that are causing an upheaval, which also almost feels like society is trying to regurgitate you because it does not know how to absorb you into it. And I guess you could take this with a grain of salt, feeling like you're being regurgitated. But if a person or if a place or an environment has never had these type of ingredients before, trust me, there will be some adjustments having to be made. It's like eating as a kid beets or zucchini. When you get these veggies, even though you know you're supposed to have them, they preach these things to you. It takes a while for your palate to mature enough to know that you can't just base your diet on flavors alone. You can't just base your diet on feelings alone. You have to do what's necessary. You have to take the good with the bad. Eventually you find out medicine, the real medicine, doesn't always taste the best, but it does what's good for you. And to society, some of us are the cure. Unfortunately, the cure doesn't always taste good. So don't take it personal when a person who's never had such an environment doesn't hesitate to try to spit it out, who doesn't hesitate to try to get away from it because they don't understand it. And because they have deemed the disease or the illness regular, now that you come as the cure, you are deemed ill. Someone gets where I'm coming from. If you've never had anything healthy before, and then you suddenly get an onslaught of it, your first reaction is to reject it. But experiencing it a little bit more will help you to adjust and realize that these things may be good for you. It's like a baby getting used to discipline, like a baby getting used to holding a spoon. It's like a baby getting used to eating vegetables. It's like you have to adjust. A lot of times we're not understanding the things that are good for us because we've been so happy with the things that have been bad, so comfortable, so nostalgic, happy for the feeling, not realizing the damage that is occurring repeatedly by our acceptance of the, I'll say, the pretty poison of life, okay? So that being said, let's get into the scripture. I do still have my scarf on. Look, I don't wrap my hair up. But after having days with my hair just sitting puffy like that, I had to do something before I decide to cut it. Okay, so here we are. So we're not in Psalms this morning. Definitely not in Psalms. We are in Proverbs. Proverbs is coming up. Okay, let's get this done. My son, if thou be surety for thy friend, if thou hast stricken thy hand with a stranger, thou art snared with the words of thy mouth, thou art taken with the words of thy mouth. Do this now, my son, and deliver thyself when thou art come into the hand of thy friend. Go humble thyself and make sure thy friend. Give not sleep to thine eyes, nor slumber to thine eyelids. Deliver thyself as a roe from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of the fowler. Go to the ant, thou sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise, which having no guide, overseer, or ruler, provideth her meat in the summer, and gathereth her food in the harvest. How long wilt thou sleep, O sluggard, when wilt thou arise out of thy sleep? Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep. So shall thy poverty come as one that travelleth, and thy want as an armed man. A naughty person, a wicked man, walketh with a froward mouth. He winketh with his eyes, he speaketh with his feet, he teacheth with his fingers. Frowardness is in his heart, he deviseth mischief continually, he soweth discord. Therefore shall his calamity come suddenly, suddenly shall he be broken without remedy. These 6 things doeth the Lord hate, yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, and hands that shed innocent blood, and heart that deviseth wicked imagination, feet that be swift in running to mischief, a false witness that speaketh lies, and he that soweth discord among brethren. My son, keep thy father's commandment, and forsake not the law of thy mother. Bind them continually upon thine heart, and tie them about thy neck. When thou is go, when thou goest, it shall lead thee. When thou sleepest, it shall keep thee. And when thou awakest, it shall talk with thee. For the commandment is a lamp, and the law is light, and reproofs of instruction are the way of life. To keep thee from the evil woman, from the flattery of the tongue of a strange woman, lust not after her beauty in thine heart, neither let her take thee with her eyelids. For by means of a whorish woman a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. Can a man take fire in his bosom, and his clothes not be burned? Can one go upon hot coals, and his feet not be burned? So he that goeth into his neighbor's wife, whosoever toucheth her, shall not be innocent. Men do not despise a thief if he steal to satisfy his soul when he is hungry. But if he be found, he shall restore sevenfold. He shall give all the substance of his house. But whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. A wound and dishonor shall he get, and his reproach shall not be wiped away. For jealousy is the rage of a man. Therefore he will not spare in the day of vengeance. He will not regard any ransom, neither will he rest content, though thou givest many gifts. Selah, so be it, so let it be. Ashe, ashe, ashe. So you understand. Well, I hope you do. Or maybe you should go back and read the text for your own and break it down. That was Proverbs 6 in its entirety. I usually go through the text in its entirety because I don't believe in fragmenting anything, so that I can take what I want from the scripture and leave the rest behind, because I would like to browbeat someone into the condition in which I would like them to be in, and reject any which way they would not desire to be in, because I deem myself above reproach because someone has given me a check to run my mouth. I am not of that volition. I am not of that path. Okay? All right. So be mindful when you come and you give your word. Know that it will not be taken by me, because I did not ask for it. Spoil not your brethren's meat. Okay? All right. There you have it. I was tripping this morning because when I got on, the first thing was a thumbnail from Antoine. I guess his name is Daniels. And he was, I don't know if he's from Baltimore or not. I don't know where this guy is from. All I know is that one day he's a hypocrite, the next day he's not. He was on, what's his face? He was on that comedian show, the 5150 show, and they went at it for a while. He was basically on there saying about his mistress that he had permission to have one at one point, and then he made his wife look really sad, asked her a really gaslighting question on a public platform, making himself and her look a bit wild, and the mistress just goes off because, you know, that's what mistresses do. They present the fact that your husband is weak, and they present the fact that maybe you should leave him, and then they go off and go on to their own relationships, not realizing that karma might follow. Okay? So be aware of your position and what you do. The same way you get them is the same way you lose them. And if you are not ashamed, don't be shamed when it happens to you. If you aren't ashamed when you're shaming someone else, you cannot have shame when things turn on you. Okay? That part. So what was tripping me out, he was covering the pool party that was had, I guess, in Randallstown, Pikesville, somewhere, wherever the pool party was. I guess Catonsville, one of the villas, right? And they were saying how they had, it was a ticketed pool party. The young people were coming out and they were dancing on the cars and doing this thing. All right, so this is what I'm going to say to a lot of our young people. Know that when you're going to these house parties, there's grown men and women that own these homes. I don't know what they present. I don't know if they tell you they don't want damage done. I don't know. But when you're going to a neighborhood and you see all the rest of the neighbors don't have a big gigantic party going on, that means the party is just at the home. So if the party is at the home, please keep the party where the party is. Do not walk out onto people's other people's property, dancing, twerking, using the bathroom, and having conversations, because the neighbors didn't invite you there. The home that you came to did invite you there. But also, for safety reasons, please know that there are a lot of older folks that will lead you the wrong way. And here's why I want to say that. It's because some of them don't feel good to going to the club. They know that they ain't got no business turning up with your young selves. However, they have made a happy medium by presenting these new house parties. And you have to be clear and know that pedophiles are very much likely to show up to these parties. Older creepy men, freaky frogs, women looking to take advantage of other women. Not to say that it won't happen in a regular club, but it's zoned for that. There are police for that. There's security for that. When you go to these homes, it's not necessarily the same setup. So you have to understand that because there is no contract, because there is no insurance at this home that mentions you or any of your thousands of friends, you are likely not being covered by that home, that house insurance, and things of that nature. So if you go to these parties, you also have to be aware and accountable for yourself. It's not enough to have a grown body and access to grown things, and you need to have a grown mind. A lot of you get access to adult areas and adult experiences, not being adults at all, and then you get yourself all bigged up in the head and you think that you're entitled to these spaces, and then what do you know, something adult, very adult, happens to you and you're not able to handle it. Well, I'm going to tell you something. There are adult things that happen to adults that adults aren't able to handle. So when you take your kid self to these adult environments, please understand, even though you are a child, you have to remember that in your head. And this is why, if you don't remember that in your head, you'll keep going into these spaces and exposing yourself and putting your parents in a pretty precarious situation, especially if the adults that are having you at these parties are friends with your parents. Now it's a question of loyalty. So please be aware of when you take your young and immature self to these mature and big people parties. There are big things that might happen there that you may not be covered for, and your parents may not be prepared to handle. There was another situation where someone hired security at another party. There were tickets charged. There were twenty to $50 tickets charged to go into a house party. When I saw the video of it, the guy was the owner of the home said, "Man, we just trying to make money, this, that, and the third, that." But like I said, that place is not zoned. These are people's private homes. 9 times out of 10, the police aren't really aware of what's going on until someone calls the police, because when it's a club, the police are already prepared for that. When it is a private home, the rules and the standards do change. So you're going to have to be clear and accountable when you go to other people's homes to party. A lot of you think you are grown. A lot of grown people think that they are grown enough to understand and deal with the repercussions of such actions, but they don't until whoop whoop happens, okay? And then everybody's clutching their pearls and they're all excited and all anxious because they don't know what's going to happen. Well, that could have been waylaid by the side had you pre-planned and thought about what could happen prior to going to these situations. It's called prep, okay? We're not only just starting to prep, you know, and this is crazy. We have more prep for reckless sex than we have for life. Every time I see the prep commercial, it somehow cringes me out, because we're basically giving the signal that reckless sex is going to happen. Reckless sex should happen. And we should prep more for that than we have for any life we got going on. That is, it gets me every time. And you have these people talking about you got to do it. If any girl knows, you got to go for prep. And then you've got the guy, yeah, I want to live my lifestyle, you know. So HIV prep is what I'm going to do. How about keep your little pants on? Keep your drawers on. Hope you ain't burning. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep that all on. You understand? So glad I'm not starting over. Anyway, like I was saying, keep yourself together. Try to have better hygiene. Try not to lay with everybody. Try not to do it unprotected. Even the mistakes that I've made before, I've always thought about it and rushed to the doctors only to realize you gotta be more careful. As you get older, you have to understand other people aren't that careful. You see these commercials, prep. You see people are doing just about anything to come up on $1. There are more and more male escorts, even though they don't want to call themselves that, more prevalent. Because guess what? They're getting more money because it's more taboo. They're getting more money because they can blackmail and extort a lot more, because a lot of them are ashamed of what they've done. They're not ashamed for laying with a woman and giving her a STD. To them, that's normal. And this is why when I saw that prep commercial, I was like cringed at it, because we're already in a situation where we're on a crunch. We're like on the tightest tightrope we can ever be on when it comes to health. And here you go with this slap on the face talking about some take prep so you can be reckless. Yay! No. Don't know your mama, don't care about you. Don't know you. Go away. You don't have to be here. Anyway, like I said, this is the thing. There are people who are more, I don't know, more in tune with the debauchery than they are with life, with living life in a great way. So as things change, karma and dharma is going to set in. There are going to be people who are going to be experiencing the worst of the worst, only because they sat and they plotted the worst of the worst on other people. There will be people who found themselves popular at one time, finding themselves counseled, not just isolated, but counseled. Nobody's going to spin the block, because life as we know it is changing. There can't be this and that. It has to be either or, because we've teetered too long. I did forget. Congratulations to those who are celebrating. Happy birthday to those Leos, because today is the first day of Leo. And condolences to those who have had losses. I have seen where a lot of school buses are having crashes, MTA buses, that sort of thing. I don't know. Look, hopefully it's not an insurance fraud scam or anything. Hopefully it's not that, but we got to be more delicate when it comes to life. You're not guaranteed to enjoy any of that little money. You might have to spend it on other things. As you get older, more pains come about, and the money and the partying that you do now isn't going to be there when you get to that point. So please make investments in your life that make sense, that don't, deteriorate and break you down in the long run, okay? And for somebody, it's somebody's energy I'm reading, and I'm trying to get the words before I say it, because I'm trying to figure out what it is. All right, somebody on the other side of the screen, someone that just seems to be a new American culture thing, where if a man can't have you, he'll say, if I can't have you, I don't want anybody to have you. I think that's so stupid, especially when it's usually a man who hasn't really done anything for anybody in any way to feel so much entitlement. Like, go away. I hate that energy. It's another energy. It's a nasty girl energy. It's a funky girl energy. If not physically, mentally, it's like a really nasty girl energy. Incubus, succubus type. But there's usually always men and women here. There's usually always men and women here. So, let's get on to the tarot, because I know this morning the trains woke me up. Like, not woke me up, but got me up. Because I was taking my time this morning. I was picturing the chakra picture, the picture with the Hindu guy sitting crisscross applesauce, and the colors of the chakras going down. That usual chart that everybody has, like a prayer rug of, something like that. I was picturing that, and I just heard the train go toot toot, really short toot toots, like toot toot. And I got up and I looked around. I didn't look outside. That's something I should do. I didn't look outside. Let me check. Yep, it's still dark. And it's peaceful. And I'm glad that the fog of Canada did fade away. I'm so glad because that was thick and it was almost insufferable. It almost seemed like if you didn't look, you weren't worried about it as much. But if you looked, it just kind of did something with your breathing. I think it was if you see it, you'll feel it. Something like that. Okay, so I pulled Cancer in the reverse. Let me make sure the cards aren't upside down. They are definitely not upside down. But I pulled Cancer in the reverse. The last three cards, well, 4 or 5 cards were upside down. So I'm going to shuffle because the first thing I saw at the bottom of the deck was a tower. So somebody's experiencing a tower this morning. Uh, who's experiencing a tower this morning? Woke up like that? Is that what the train was about? The tower? Okay, all right. Okay, so the Three of Cups came back out and it was in reverse this morning. So let's see what it says. Overindulgence, heavy party, and isolation, independence, alone time, three's a crowd, and gossip. Okay, we did talk about this in our Bible verse, the 7 sins that God hates that a lot of us do, not realizing that God does hate it. And you feel as though because you haven't been slapped out of your chair or knocked off your rocker yet, that it's not going to happen. Well, God has a way in which He deals with everybody. He doesn't deal with everybody the same way. Um, Sometimes He waits until your most relaxed, happiest moments, and that's when He decides to, because He's got your attention now. It's because you're too worried about you. You're too worried. You're too entitled. You're too selfish. So He picks your most selfish moment, the moment that you pick for yourself, and that's when He decides to knock. Hey, remember that thing you did? Remember that thing you took? Remember that thing you said? Yeah, you don't take me seriously. So I'm going to take this here blessing that you thought you were just going to tiptoe out the door with. Yeah, give that back. Yeah, give that back. And you take nothing, okay? All right, bye-bye. 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 And I love it how his sense of humor is. He like waits until like it's like he rocks you to sleep. Much like other people try to do other people. They try to rock them to sleep so that they can get over, take over, dominate, steal, lie, cheat, defame, that sort of thing. And the next thing you know, he comes and he's like, oh, you thought you were the greatest. You thought you were the great pretender. Well, God doesn't pretend, but He knows how to. Right. He really knows. He knows how to show you exactly what you've been putting out. So, someone's probably going through some mirrored situations right now. They're finally realizing that what goes around comes around. And someone's going to find themselves in a situation that they so heavily purported on someone else. And they really won't be able to say much about it in detail because they'll be found out. Ah, they can't even complain, even for a moment when things get hard, because they know what they thought out in their brain. They know what they plotted on. They know what they put their hands to. They know what they ran quickly to do for a couple of dollars, a couple of pennies, a couple of coins, for a couple of likes, for a couple of psychs, for a couple of anything. You understand? So, somebody's definitely done one of those 7 things, or probably all of those 7 things, and found themselves in disfavor. Wow. Overindulgence, heavy party and isolation, independence, alone time, three's a crowd, gossip. And this is a Cancer energy. I think we're going to do the reading just like this. 1. 3 of Cups. Dang. So, yeah, Cancer, I think you should do something about the overindulgence, the heavy partying. You isolate yourself in a crowd. You seem independent. Alone time, three's a crowd gossip. So maybe you are independent, but what you do in your alone time isn't very good. It's not the best investment. Three's a crowd, so that means that you have more than one life, or you have more than one situation going on. So somebody's a serial cheater. Not only are they a serial cheater, they have a different lives. They have a different life. So this person probably cheats with both sex, but the problem is, do they know it? On top of that, they are involved in some very heavy gossip. Gossip is usually a weapon that is used to triangulate. Gossip is used when one person wants to compare another, when one person wants to gaslight another, when one person wants to defame another, creating chaos, creating isolation, creating discrimination. So, and this could also take away opportunities, people having bad gossip and bad things to say about one another. So, somebody's basically been on a pilgrimage to ruin someone else's character, but in the midst of the situation, it did turn in on them, so now their character is destroyed. Hmm. Mm. Three, divine intervention. Okay, so God definitely had to intervene into this person's situation, because the overindulgence is going to be the death of them or someone else. God forbid this person leave angry from a party, inebriated, and run into someone's child, or run into someone who's traveling to or from work or from wherever they wanted to come from. And this is why you have to worry about these sort of things. When a person is very unwell in their minds, they don't make the greatest decisions, okay? Three's a crowd. Hmm. Did this person get the outside person pregnant? Or did this person get someone pregnant to keep someone inside while they go outside? Three's a crowd. Hmm. That was the Cancer reading. Please be safe when partying. Please know your drinking limit. Don't drive drunk. Let someone know where you are for safety reasons. Someone's going to definitely have to reevaluate their social life and the nature of it. That's what I have for Cancer. Didn't mean to pull Cancer. That was the first card that fell out, was the Three of Cups. Cancer energy, that is water. The question is yes. Taurus came out. The zodiacs won't go in order this morning. I'm pulling cards. Taurus, financial loss, lack mindset, loss, isolation, worry, need, poverty, insecurity. You're in the upright, but this is what it is for you, Taurus. This is your energy. Someone is going through financial loss. This is a lot. This is heavy energy this morning. I did say that the world is going through karma and dharma right now. This is a 5. Taurus, Gemini energy, May. But financial loss, lack mindset, loss, isolation, worry, need, poverty, insecurity. So somebody feels very insecure. They're going through many money problems, but the money problems are coming from the way they thought, the way that they enacted things. Some people want things right away. And the fact of the matter is, sometimes when you get it right away, you don't save for a rainy day. You get to living a certain lifestyle, and fast money goes fast. That's what it does. So somebody has found themselves in one of those lifestyles that they can't maintain. They bust their move too fast is what I'd say. Somebody bust their move too fast and find themselves in financial loss, lack mindset, loss, isolation, worry, need, poverty, insecurity. And it doesn't always mean that they're broke. It does mean that they're having a bad money management problem. It's leaving their hands faster than they would like it to. And they're not feeling a lot of love in the environment. It seems if they don't perform, there is no attention. So somebody is in a very nasty contract. It's like they're being gaslighted into a contract where they were gaslighting people. And they're starting to get that. Someone is starting to understand that. They were put into a situation to where they are the sacrifice. Someone got sacrificed by their own ambitions. Yikes. I'm going to put that to the side. Capricorn just came out in the devil. We already know how that goes with the Capricorn, the devil. The shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, toxicity. This person doesn't look like what they do. Now we got the Ace of Wands here. So, for the Cancer, for the Taurus, for the Capricorn doesn't look like the devil when you see him. They look innocent. Look almost still on top. But they have very unhealthy thoughts. It's not so much the practices, it's the thoughts. And it's what they do behind closed doors. You would never suspect them of doing any of these things behind closed doors. Someone also has an addiction to corn. I don't think they meant it to be an addiction to corn. It's just that they don't have many options outside in the world. So they decided to abuse themselves. As we grow older, we start to realize that that's exactly what masturbation is. It is abusing yourself. So the 1 and the 3 and the Queen of Swords comes out right after the Cancer, the Taurus, and the Capricorn. Ace of Wands, new project, Queen of Swords. New project, inspiration, urge to create. The person who is overindulging, three's a crowd. Willpower is what they need to work on. Desire, potential, and they need to work on new beginnings. They need to work on growth and new opportunities. If this is the person that is having the baby or made the baby, we have 1 here. They may need to look at new projects, new perspectives. They need to create something, create an opportunity, or create a way out. Someone needs a plan B, a contingency plan. Someone needs to know that if they could actually gather up the willpower and the desire, they can change the trajectory of their lives. And this goes with the person who's overindulging, heavy partying, isolation, independence, alone time, three's a crowd, gossip. The gossip definitely have to be dealt with. And that's the Ace of Wands, new project, inspiration, urge to create, willpower, desire, power, potential beginnings, new opportunities, growth. That was the gifts for the Cancer. For the Taurus, we have the 3 of Wands, preparation, progress, foresight, enterprise, expansion, overseas opportunities. That's going to change this. Financial loss, lack mindset, loss, isolation, worry, need, poverty, insecurity. They're going to need to do a 3 of Wands, preparation, progress, foresight, enterprise, expansion, overseas opportunity. Perhaps they need to disconnect completely and go another direction, a new environment, a new set of friends, a new set of thoughts, and maybe they can reinvest in something new because they've definitely destroyed everything. Okay, with the Capricorn, Queen of Swords. Unbiased judgment, independent, clear boundaries, direct communication, clear-minded, perceptive. So, when it comes to you dealing with your shadow self, attachment, addiction, restriction, sexuality, temptation, seduction, destructive behavior, materialism, codependency, and toxicity, Capricorn, this is your solution. Go forward and try to have unbiased judgment. Don't beat yourself up too much, especially if you did get an addiction to corn. There is a way to reduce it. Stop watching it. Watch it less. Go outside. Go to the gym. Go meet someone and take them seriously, and don't have sex with them, because it seems as though once you get into the sex, you cannot think again. So, the best thing for you going forward is to date celibate. It won't stay that way, of course, but for you, if you have addictions to that sort of thing, it would be best for you to engage without sex. You need to get used to engaging with people without sex so that you can actually hear what they say and look at them and talk to them, and not just look at their body parts and picture how they would feel in your arms or in your hands or in your mouth or however you picture it. Maybe you should start engaging with people in close quarters and restrict yourself from the sex so that you can start rehumanizing people, so that you can stop dehumanizing yourself. Hopefully this helps. That was for the Capricorn. Unbiased judgment, independent, clear boundaries. Yes, you have to set boundaries with yourself. Know that you might also pull into the urge, but can you pull back? Can you stop midway and say, you know what, this is what I'm trying not to do? That sort of thing. Direct communication, clear-minded. Allow people to know what your restriction is. And some people will support you. They'll be like, okay, well, if this is what we're supposed to do, I'm going to remind you that you can't do that. We can't do that. This shouldn't go there, because we're trying to help you get healthy in your mind. Okay? Too much of anything is horrible. Clear-minded and perceptive. So definitely you can change your perspective if you can change your habits. Okay? So that was for Cancer, Taurus, and Capricorn. Let's go for the next few zodiacs. That was a different read, right? Okay. Problem and solution. Let's see who comes out next. Okay, somebody tried to pop out there. Okay, Aquarius. Libra. I don't know who that goes to. There was an ace came out. Aries came out. The ace came out right before Aries. The Fool. The Ten of Pentacles. Okay. So we've got Aquarius, Libra, and Aries. So, conflict, disagreements, competition, defeat, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bullies, theft, abusive relationships. Okay. Aquarius, you've been a bit abusive in your relationships. You've been entitled, okay? You've been trying to win at all costs. You hide the way your real nature is so that you can get what you want, not realizing that you are lying to yourself as well. Because when a person finds out that you are not who you present yourself to be, they usually check out and leave you pretty quick. Or you get upset, or you try to do something to them, something like that. Or you harass them until they give in because you feel entitled. That's toxic. That's bullying. And it's also a theft of time. If not, you're stealing money. If not, you're stealing resources. Something like that. You don't always have to actually physically take somebody's stuff to be taking things. Sometimes you're taking a person's patience. Sometimes you're taking their resources by keep calling, by eating, keep asking for gas money, things of that nature. Keeping up conflicts. Always in competition with the next person to the left or to the right. So definitely somebody is giving someone fatigue. It's giving pretty much fatigue, all right? Somebody's worried everybody to death. They basically bothered, called, manipulated, managed, social engineered, all sorts of things. This is what this Aquarius energy has done. 5, giving me Taurus Gemini, giving me Taurus Gemini vibes, but it is definitely an Aquarius, okay? So now we have the Virgo energy underneath the Aquarius. Wealth, financial security, family, long-term success, contribution. Well, this is not what's happening in this situation. Dark side of wealth, financial failure or loss, fleeting success, lack of stability, lack of resources. This is what happens when you do that part, okay? So, for this Aquarius going forward, they're going to have to learn how to settle themselves down. I'm taking it they're not too old yet, but as you get older, you're going to want somebody to actually like your ass, okay? Or else you're going in a nursing home by yourself with no visits. So someone needs to pipe down quite a bit, all right? As they go forward, they're going to need to fix their financial failure because you're not going to be able to retire with no money, okay? Fleeting success, people running away from you, people starting to change the way that they feel. Sometimes when kids leave the home, they don't come back and they tell the real story of what happened, okay? Lack of stability, not being able to hold on to relationships, not being able to hold on to friendships, not even being able to hold on to some employment. Lack of resources, you may get it, but it may go fast. Or people may not be wanting to give it to you, knowing what you've done in the past. So it's time to go set yourself down and reevaluate how you want to do the other half of this life. Conflicts, disagreement, competition, defeat, winning at all costs, sneakiness, bully, theft, abusive relationships, dark side of wealth, financial failure, loss, fleeting success, lack of stability, lack of resources. That is for you. 10 of Pentacles after the 5 of Swords. That's like going in, right? Okay. Now we have the 11 in Libra, which is funny because I don't think Libra touches that at all. I think that's just Scorpio that touches that with Sagittarius, which is making me think that this is a Libra Scorpio cusp. Justice, fairness, truth, clarity, equality, balance, cause, and effect. Someone is definitely going through the cause of an effect of justice. They're also understanding that if you're not fair, you cannot expect fairness. Someone is also learning that they need to tell the truth and be clear and stop trying to confuse the signals. Someone is trying to create chaos and inevitably created chaos for themselves. In their pursuance of dominance, they knocked off the balance and there is no equality. So there's cause and effect, and now they're facing law, the fool. Someone needs a new beginning, possibilities, innocence, spontaneous optimism, trust in life, blind faith, adventure, opportunity, pleasure. This is what this Libra needs to do to face the music. They need to face the possibilities of new beginnings. They need to face their guilt so that they can go back into innocence, and they need to try to trust in life with blind faith. Someone needs to find something safe to do. Overindulgence in pleasure is not advised if you have not been pleasurable. Someone needs to take a leap of faith and clear out the karmic debt. Okay, now we've got the Aries, celebration, joy, harmony, marriage, home, community, homecoming. That's great. Sounds good. And we've got the Ace of Pentacles. So you've got a great thing going on, Aries. And we've got abundance, manifestation, opportunity, new career or financial opportunity, new adventure, prosperity. So, Aries, you're having a great one today. And celebrate. Your foundation does not mean that that is your sign. It could just be your sun, moon, rising. Take what resonates. Celebration, joy, harmony, marriage, home, community, and homecoming. Somebody is very much a pillar of the community. They're a good example of what it looks like to be satisfied in life. Doesn't mean they're uber rich, but they are abundant in the wealth of health and happiness. They know how to enjoy peace. They know how to enjoy a good party and also put it away. They know their limitations. They understand their limitations as well as understand the environment that they're in. They know how to read a room, and they also know how to discern when it comes to their life. They know who not to approach, and they know who to approach, and they know when to just let it go. Okay, so Aries, energy, Ace of Pentacles. This is a great reading. They go from the celebration to abundance, manifestation, a new career, and financial opportunity. The best way to enjoy these opportunities is to make sure the environment around you and the environment inside of you are aligned. And then you can maximize anything that comes your way. When you have anything out of balance, that allows for things to be minimalized in your life. And if you like to max it, why are you manying it? Okay, okay, okay. Let's get on to the third spread. Ooh. Dang. The Empress just wanted to pop out. She's a 3. The Gemini came out, 10 of Swords. Hmm. Hmm. Upside down. Didn't like that. High Priestess. Pisces. Scorpio. Mm. 8 of Cups. Virgo. So I got Gemini, Pisces, Scorpio, and Virgo. I think that's it. So, for Gemini, painful endings, deep wounds, betrayal, loss, crisis, failure, collapse, defeat. You went through that. Now it's time for abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution, action. That came out underneath this. So after going through painful endings, deep wounds, knowing that you had to cut people off, whether it was painful or not, deep wounds, there were deep wounds. People did turn around and stab you in the back, double cross you, all things like that. Betrayal, loss, crisis, failure. You went through a lot and you're still here. That's a lot of damn swords to go through. But you're still here. And the good thing about that is going forward with your abundance, you don't have to think about those things ever again. You don't have to let anybody come back. You don't have to forgive anybody. You don't have to accept anyone's apology as it stands because no one apologized to you. So you get to go forward with your abundance as you see fit. Abundance, nurturing, fertility, feminine, good parenting, development, accomplishment, growth, evolution, action. If you want to go forward and get a new relationship, get married again, have a new baby, go to a new state, travel to a new country, you can do so because now is your time to reestablish your life anew. You don't have to approach or take anything old with you. You've gone through enough. You've done your part. You basically survived it, and now you get to thrive on your own. You owe no one anything, no apologies. By Murphy's Law, by universal law, you've done enough. You've put in that work, and now you can fly, fly, fly away. That was for Gemini. The Empress is here for Gemini, okay? Now we have Pisces and Aries, okay? We have a Piscean Aries situation. There's a Pisces that has that Pharisees energy, okay? High Priestess, they are very knowing. They are very intuitive. Yes, they are. Sacred knowledge, the subconscious, divine feminine. Trust yourself, sensitivity, purity, high morals. Hopefully this Empress does have high morals. If this is a dark priestess. Secrets, harm, hidden agenda, disconnected from intuition, withdraw, silence, selfish, Shallowness, ignorance, and misunderstanding. So, we have a situation where there are more than one priestess out here. There's dark priest and there is high priestess. Let me explain again. If you are the high priestess on the north node, intuition, sacred knowledge, the subconscious, divine feminine, trust in yourself, sensitivity, purity, and high morals. If you are not, I have to give this description so that people can know what type of high priestess you are. You may be a high priestess, but that does not always make you good. A high priestess in the south node will keep secrets. They will cause harm. They will have hidden agendas, meaning you will not know what's out, what the cat's in the bag until they're ready for you to know. Disconnected from intuition, meaning they're just doing things by their seat. They're just flying by the seat of their ass. They're just pulling things out, and they're wanting you to go along with it. That's disconnected from intuition. Withdrawal, silence, always using the silent treatment as a weapon as opposed to a reasoning. Selfish, always thinking about themselves. Shallowness, materialistic. Ignorance and misunderstanding, always being ignorant to the environment and always wanting the understanding of the same environment. So someone who is with this Aries Pisces in their chart, this person is definitely working out of the south node, but there might be a high priestess along the same zodiac that is working in their north node. It is important for you to use your discernment going forward. Okay, we have Scorpio out for death and transformation, endings, beginnings, change, transformation, transition, metamorphosis, end of cycle. Death isn't always bad when you look at it with a different perspective. Some people need to put some habits to the back burner or all the way away from them so that they can go forward. Excuse me. Someone's not having a good outcome because this 8 was underneath of it. That was the 8 of cups. Endings, beginnings, change, transformation, transition, metamorphosis, end of cycle. Disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism, walking away and leaving behind. Oh, so this is what this ending is. This ending is learning that they have to leave behind. This is basically escapism. Somebody wants to get away because they don't like what they've built. They don't like the reputation that they now have. They don't like what they grew into. They grew into the very thing that they probably talked about. They probably talked down about. They probably grew into the thing that they told everybody else that they were. And now look at them. Ta-da! Death and transformation, Scorpio. Passion, disappointment, which means that they intuitively know, no one really has to tell them that shame is descending. Terrible. Okay, now we have this Virgo reading. Fruits of labor, rewards, luxury, self-sufficiency, financial independence. That is the 9 in Virgo. Okay, now we have Page of Cups. Creating opportunities, intuitive messages, curiosity, possibility, happy surprise, dreamer, sensitivity, new love. So this fish is in the cup. Be careful with any new loves going forward, Virgo, because you have to understand that people are tricky. You don't know if this person is needing you for help or needing you because they're trying to get over on you or set up. There's a lot of setups happening in this world, all across the world. If you go across YouTube, there are people being extradited from all corners of the world because they're stealing and it's fraud. And they're sending papers to people thinking that if you get into a different territory, they'll be able to do it. Banking fraud, wire fraud, scams, Medicaid, malpractice, trafficking, organs, the black web. All of this is happening right now. So you have to understand the world is under complete dharma and karma. Things are being shifted. The wheat is being separated from the chaff as we speak. We just don't know what type of civilization we'll be left with at the end of the day after they've scorched the earth. So, my last pull is 128. 128, 128. I don't know if that's important to anyone. This sequence of number, be it 281 or 218 or 821 or 812 or 128 or 182. We don't know. January 82, January 28th. I'll put it another way. February 18th. February 1981. I'll put it another way. August 21st. August 12th. That's what I have. But back in order. 128. New project, inspiration, urge to create, willpower, desire, power, potential, beginnings, new opportunities, growth, intuition, sacred knowledge, the subconscious, divine feminine, trust yourself, sensitivity, purity, high morals, disappointment, abandonment, withdrawal, escapism, walking away, leaving behind. So, there's a situation where somebody's going to have to start a new project subconsciously and consciously. They know that they're going to have to move. They're going to have to leave their old neighborhood, their old family, their old friends, their old situation, even their old jobs. Things that they used to do, they are no longer going to be able to do. Not that they can't perform it, it's just that they won't be able, it's not that they won't be able to do it. It will no longer serve them to do that job. Someone is getting a new position. Someone is getting a promotion in life. They will find themselves in a much more important, lofty position than they are right now. That is Ace of Wands, High Priestess, Eight of Cups. They will be walking away and leaving behind. Much to their heartbreak, they may have a lot of nostalgia in those old places, but those old places no longer have anything for them. Take your 8 cups and go. That is how you achieve your dharma out of your karma. Take what resonates. Sun, moon, rising. The Piscean energy with the moon is out here. Highly intuitive. As above, so below. Putting it all together. 3 plus 8 is 11. Master. I'm going to do another deck, and I'm going to do the 4 elements. Astro Matrix. Do the algorithm a favor, like, share, and subscribe. We do appreciate you in everything you do. All the gifts that you send, don't forget that there is a book called Inside Gossip by myself truly. You can look on Amazon for that. It also is coming in a cheaper form, which is an ebook if you would like. Okie dokie. All right. So right now we're going to pull up on the earth signs. Earth sign, you've got Empress, the Two of Pentacles, and the Temperance. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. The earth sign is Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. Temperance, which is 14, the Two of Pentacles balancing out, and the Empress. If you can balance out by way of temperance your attitude and in the way in which you would like to go and your situation with other people, you can balance out more opportunities and your responsibility as well as your spirituality going forward, and you can achieve this abundance and wealth. Take what resonates. Sun, moon, rising, Temperance, Two of Pentacles. I always got to grab the other book for this. And I meant to grab Astro Matrix, but somehow I still grabbed Ethereal. It's something about the Ethereal deck this week. Okay? So, the Two of Pentacles is Capricorn energy. And as I said, this was the Earth reading. Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. By way of temperance, you will be able to balance out and create some kind of abundance for yourself. That is the Earth reading. Next, we have Aquarius, which is air sign. Okay, all your cards came out together. Six of Wands, the Hanged Man, and the Queen of Cups. The air signs are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Mm-hmm. Six of Wands is in Leo. Bask in victory, acknowledging fame and pride. Okay, so air signs, you are becoming publicly recognized. You have to remember to surrender any anxiety you may feel, any lack you may feel, and sacrifice anything that does not take you further at this time. Sacrifice all feelings of anxiety, sacrifice all bad feelings, all bad memories. Let go of anything that deters you from going forward. Queen of Cups, showing compassion, counseling others. Be empathetic toward others, to lead by example and let them understand what it is all about. Okay, so air signs, you are being tasked with leadership. You are being tasked with guidance. You are being tasked with teaching from your experiences. Even if you feel as though you failed, someone can learn. You can also help someone not make the mistakes that you have made by counseling, allowing people to understand and being transparent. If you've made a mistake, there is somebody who might make that mistake, and if you give them counseling before they make that jump, you can save someone else's life, and by way of saving someone, you can get a little bit more karma on your side. Okay, all right, so air sign Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. You are gaining public recognition. You need to be careful of sacrificing yourself, being sacrificial yourself, and sacrificing your time. Be sure to sacrifice all those negative things that would influence you to not go forward. And remember, you have a big responsibility. People are watching you, whether you want to be a role model or not. This is your purpose. That was Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Now we're going to get into the water signs. Okay. The Two of Wands comes straight out with the water sign. Just jump straight out there. Okay. We got the Two of Wands, the Well, and the Six of Pentacles. Ha ha ha. You would get the Eight. Be careful of which side of karma you're on, be it karma or dharma. We have the Two of Wands. The water signs is as I pronounce: Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. The Two of Wands is Aries energy, discovering new paths, planning your future, venturing into the unknown, aligning your mind to your soul. Looking out, gaining perspective, getting an overview. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, the Well. Okay. I told you I'm in the ethereal deck, so it takes a little time for me to... Okay, the Well is here. The Well is the birthplace of ideas, inspiration, information. All things are birthed from this creatrix known whose knowledge flows freely to those who seek it. Nurturing, opportunity, nature, creativity. Destruction, endings, cold, and stagnant. So be careful not to be, going forward, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Be careful not to be destructive and be cold and stagnant, okay? Looks like having a froward heart. Looks like doing things knowing that they are self-destructive or might cause the demise of someone else. But instead, be nurturing. Look out for opportunities. Be out in nature. Love nature. Nature loves you. And have creativity. Remember, you're the water sign, which is the well. Water can either nurture you or it could destroy you. Be careful of which side you are on. Remember, Dharma, Six of Pentacles. Equal give and take to the universe. Remember, what you sow is what you will definitely reap. That has been for the water signs. Take what resonates. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. All right, now we're in our last element, which is fire. Last but not least, let's not be stubborn, fire. Oh, I want to show you these pretty cards. Equal give and take, that part, okay? So, going to the fire. The fire is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Cups fell out. Ace of Cups, the Fool. Let's see what the third cup is. I said cup. Card, I meant to say. The Magician. Okay, so the Ace of Cups looks like an offer. The Fool looks like an opportunity. The Magician looks like you can manifest. Okay, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The Ace of Cups is out here. Which is signifying opportunity to me. Try to see the positivity in everything. Everyone is unique. Try to find their hidden uniqueness. Unconditional love, emotional stability. So it looks like the world or the universe or someone might be offering you unconditional love or stability, emotional stability. The most important thing is for you to offer this thing to yourself. If you never offer it to yourself, no one will know this is what you want and they will not offer it to you, okay? So, not filling the void, unblocking creativity, okay? Remember, don't just do things just because there's a space for it. Remember to do things intentionally and with purpose, okay? The Fool. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you've imagined. As you simplify your life, the laws of the universe will be simpler. Find an adventure being spontaneous. Looks like there's an opportunity for you to either present some type of unconditional love or go out and show yourself as unconditional love. There's an opportunity waiting for you. You just have to align with it by showing up. That is the correct way in which to manifest. You are the magician of your life. And by way of manifestation, if you put that vibration out there, you will surely receive a response. Use discernment as to what you respond to or what you react to. And that is the fire element. Okay, take what resonates. That has been Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. Hopefully you're having a great morning. And this is Friday. So be safe out there in these streets. Drink a lot of water. And yeah, touch grass. That part. Whichever grass you like. This has been Nyx. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.